What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie298 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And 2019 is over, but there were plenty of casualties in 2019 when it comes to gaming companies, big corporations who either ruin their reputations, ruin their franchises, or just ruin their goodwill altogether. There are even some companies that are going to be here in this video that only screwed up just a little bit, but it was enough ill will to ruin certain markets for them. Most of these companies just really screwed up. Now, this video is sponsored by the folks over at NordVPN, and they have the best deal they have ever offered for a limited time for you today. And the reason I chose Nord for the sponsorship of this video is because earlier this year, Nord had a bit of a snafu of their own. They had a minor security breach, and I'm sure you saw the headlines, but here's the thing, absolutely no user information was actually leaked. But Nord decided to go ahead and take this very seriously, so they are really tightening security, including one of my favorite things here is they are purchasing their own servers. A lot of VPNs use third-party servers, but Nord will be the industry first to be using exclusively servers they own. And keep in mind, security is not the only reason you want a VPN, because you can use NordVPN to access the global internet, to get access to content in other countries you simply can't get access to any other way other than flying there. So I still choose NordVPN as my VPN provider because I know they have very reliable encryption when it comes to connecting to Wi-Fi anywhere I am, and if I need support, I can get it 24/7. And with servers in 59 countries, I know they have some of the fastest speeds possible. But the best news I have for you today is that if you go to nordvpn.com/BOOGIE and use coupon code BOOGIE, when you sign up for the 3-year deal, you'll get an 81% discount. And they are going to throw in 4 extra months and give you access to their NordPass, their password managing software, entirely for free. That's like almost $200 value. So do me a favor, check out the sponsor in the description box below. I'll consider that you just clicking that link as a Christmas gift to me, and you'll be getting a great deal at the same time. So let's talk a little bit about Blizzard, because I think when we think of companies that have basically ruined their reputation, Blizzard comes to the top of the list for 2019.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones.
Now, don't get me wrong, Blizzard had some really good stuff happen to them this year. Obviously, they launched the Classic server, and it was quite the hit. They announced Diablo 4, which is a game I think pretty much everyone is looking forward to. But all of these positive things got buried by controversies and negativity because of all of the stupid mistakes this company was making. So instead of people making videos celebrating Diablo 4, a lot of people were boycotting it and not even referring to these games because of the difficulty that Blizzard had faced. What really sunk Blizzard this year is that they decided to ban a Hearthstone player by the name of Blitzchung because he decided to call for liberation of his country of Hong Kong after winning a Hearthstone tournament. They decided to ban that player and then make him forfeit all of his prize money, and when the internet pushed back, they decided to shorten the ban and give him his prize money. But there was a bit of corporate doublespeak here, because where they announced in the United States that they had moved too quickly and they had made a huge mistake on their Twitter account for Blizzard in China, in Chinese, they said that they would always honor the great country of China, and it's pretty clear to see where their alliance lies. And what made all of this so much worse was the timing, because this happened right after the launch of Classic and just before their BlizzCon for 2019. So you saw a lot of creators, a lot of news outlets siding with Hong Kong, refusing to talk about any of the good stuff that Blizzard was doing. I mean, the boycott not just got a lot of people to quit Hearthstone and quit Blizzard games altogether, but it kept them from covering new games that otherwise people would have been truly excited about. Now, Blizzard/Activision did take a bit of a financial hit in the stock market because of that controversy, but at year's end, Activision Blizzard is doing very well. But I think, keep in mind, Blizzard is only a small part of Activision these days, and it has very little to do with Hearthstone when it comes to stock prices, and has a lot more to do with stuff like Call of Duty. So I think Activision is going to be fine, but I think Blizzard is definitely going to be suffering for a few years moving forward. I got a really strong feeling that Blizzard is in trouble because people just don't want to play their games because of the bad PR. And next up on the list is Bioware. And look, I mean, when EA bought Bioware, we all called this. We just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. But I think this last year might be what it finally took to kill Bioware. Bioware has been shaky ever since they produced Mass Effect 3. And since that game, there has been a lot of issues with the company when it comes to PR. Fast forward to this year when they made Anthem, and guess what? The PR is worse than it's ever been. Not only was Anthem a failure of a game, but it was horribly mismanaged, causing people at the company to have mental breakdowns because of the extreme stress and misery that was going on at the company. We saw people leaving Bioware in droves because they were being forced to make a game that they was doomed to fail and that they knew they were not experts on making. This is a company that got bought up because of how great its RPGs were, and they were forced to create a looter shooter. And not only that, they were given like a 7-year period to make it, but the game's mismanagement was so bad they really only had a few months to work on it before release. To make the PR even worse, the folks over at Bioware continued to promise a roadmap that they did not follow, and it looks like they will never follow that roadmap as this year ends. They promised content and fixes that just either came late or never came, and as a result, even the people who did like the game, even the people who did trust them, no longer do. And that puts Bioware in a real catch-22 situation because I guess they're forced to be stuck fixing a game that nobody wants to play anymore and no longer trusts, or they could be working on a new game, but no one's going to trust them when that game comes out. That game would have to come out absolutely perfect. It would have to be back to their original roots. It would have to be polished and amazing, and they practically have to give it away in order to regain trust. And I think EA, instead of spending all of that money and all of that time, I think they're more likely just to bring down the axe, because that's what EA tends to do. They buy up a company, they ruin it, and they spit it out into the grave. I mean, just take a look on the screen right now at this huge list of companies that EA has done this to before, and now it looks like it's BioWare's time to join the list. Then we have to talk about Bethesda, which has been in a lot of trouble. I mean, geez, going back to Fallout 4, which is very controversial. But whether it's their mobile offerings or whether it's Fallout 76, this is a company that's just taken an incredible beating in just this last year. And I think this is probably the quintessential example of controversies in 2019, because no matter what they did, people despised them for it. At the beginning of the year, Bethesda announced a Fallout 76 premium leather jacket that looked like absolute garbage, and the internet took this as an opportunity to dunk hard on the company, saying that the jacket was about the exact same quality as the actual game itself. And hey, look, this one actually came with a premium bag, the one that we were all promised from the collector's edition. And yeah, you didn't get it with the collector's edition. You got it with the jacket though. But Fallout 76 was promised to be fixed, was promised to be given tons of free content and microtransactions reduced, but at the end of the day, that's absolutely not what happened. This game continues to be broken, and in many cases been broken worse and worse. Either it's been through hackers spawning Fallout items into the world, or hackers being able to reach into other people's inventories and stealing stuff, or content updates not coming out, or just grievous microtransactions that just upset the community. But the dumbest thing that Bethesda did was offering an option for a monthly subscription that would run you $12.99 or $99 a year to play a game that you've already spent $60 on that has microtransactions built right in. This completely upset the community. And what the subscription service offered seemed fairly scant. I mean, Private Worlds seems fine, but when it comes to the other stuff on the list, it really just didn't seem like it was worth it. And the community was so upset about this that Fallout First members got tagged differently in the world, so other players started hunting them down and punishing them for spending money on this. It actually turned out to be a deterrent. If you spent money on this, not only did you not get much for your money, but you had a worse game experience. And unlike some of the other companies on the list, Bethesda doesn't really have too much on the horizon. I know we'll all get another Fallout game eventually. We'll all get another Elder Scrolls game eventually. But it doesn't look like any of those games are coming out in the next year. And according to their E3 this year, most of the games they have coming out, people either aren't excited for, or we just don't care because they're bad games. Look what they're doing to Commander Keen, for God's sakes. I mean, in 2018, Bethesda was one of the most beloved game companies in the world, and now they're one of the most distrusted and even hated. And the answer is simple. They've always created buggy games, but when they tried to move these games into online properties, you can't have a buggy multiplayer online game. It's cute and it's quaint when it's a single player game and you can just reload your save and move forward. But when it's an online game and you're getting griefed by other players, or you're losing the items that you worked for, and it's hosted on their server, not your hard drive, so you can't manipulate it and you can't do anything about it, Bethesda games just don't belong there. They belong on your hard drive in single-player versions that you can enjoy at home, and I hope that Bethesda will learn that before it's too late, but I think it might already be. In fact, I think the final nail in the coffin for Bethesda might just be the fact that other companies have realized that there is a need for these types of games. The Outer Worlds, at the end of the day, is the Fallout game we all wanted. Not Fallout 76, but a single-player adventure that we could play the way we wanted to play it. It's more Fallout than the recent Fallout games could have possibly have been. If other companies follow suit and Bethesda doesn't, they just don't stand a chance. Next up on the list is the Epic Game Store, and let's face it, I mean, at the beginning of 2019, nobody was excited about it. We're at the end of 2019, and people are less excited about it than ever. I mean, the hate videos seem to finally have started to slow and maybe even stop, but all throughout 2019, the Epic Store continued to screw up. The Epic Store continues to upset a lot of people by buying up a ton of exclusives. But it seems like players have just decided to, instead of get mad at the Epic Store, get mad at the games and the developers themselves, or not even really get upset about it anymore. They just seem to wait until it comes to their preferred platform. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of people who've installed the Epic's launcher, myself included, and have bought some games on it because you don't really have a choice if you want to play those games early on. But there are plenty of players who just boycott the games until they finally come out. And that's not good for the industry. But the biggest complaint is from people who actually use the Epic Store, who say that it's very, very feature light. And because of that, they're not satisfied with the product. And to make matters worse, they have missed a lot of their goals when it came to their roadmap, and have since adjusted their roadmap to try to not give a time frame, just give you an idea of what they will eventually come out with and what will eventually work. This leaves a lot of people preferring Steam and feeling like they're forced to buy their games somewhere they don't want to play them. I'm not sure that the Epic Store will ever be beloved like Steam. In fact, I'm pretty sure they won't. And then finally, one more gaming company here, though it's not exactly a game developer, but it's the folks over at Twitch who have managed in this last year to accrue such incredibly bad PR that I feel like Twitch as a platform has finally stagnated and is beginning its slow decline. I don't even know where people are going, certainly not Mixer, but people are really mad at Twitch. Twitch already had a reputation moving into 2019 as a toxic company and a toxic place that always treated women differently than they treated men. And some of their bans made no sense, whereas other bans were simply too light. We saw some high-profile situations with Twitch this year, including banning of Dr. Disrespect, of Alinity. We've seen cat abuse. We've seen controversy after controversy. And for the most part, it created an incredible amount of ill will for the platform. And to make matters worse for Twitch is there's finally some competition in the streaming sphere. I mean, YouTube's always been there, but now we've seen Mixer purchasing high-profile streamers like Ninja and many others to come to that platform. And whereas not everybody's moving to Mixer to watch those guys, you do still have plenty of people who quit Twitch because their favorite streamer no longer streams there, so they stop using the service. And I think Mixer is a big reason that Twitch has begun to stagnate and will be getting into its inevitable decline very, very soon. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for this video. This video could have easily gone twice as long. In fact, I might make a part 2 if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know by dropping a like down below. Hit subscribe on the channel if you're not already subscribed, because I'd love to have you see these videos when they go live, so hit that notification bell. And as usual, this is one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and you can let me know while you're down there in the comment section. I do read and heart a lot of comments, and I would love to hear what you have to say. And do me a favor, while you're down there, check out that sponsor. They got a great deal for you, and you'll be supporting me at the same time. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know if you want to see a part 2. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. And if I do make a part 2, Gearbox, Stadia, oh, what a year. What a year. Let's hope 2020 is better for gaming. It probably won't be.